This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's 6 o'clock on RTV6, and it's a Storm Team 6 alert day as we'll deal with rain this morning, snow this afternoon, with falling temperatures and wind chills that'll be down into the 20s.
Bad weather could mean less fun for ghouls and goblins this Halloween. We're looking at safe and dry places to trick-or-treat indoors.
It's their GPS or something says hang left. They hang a left. They wipe out my fence.
A central Indiana community says drivers are ignoring the clearly posted no truck signs. The damage left behind as we're working for you to crack down on the problem.
We often take our vision for granted. This morning, we're talking to experts about the challenges the blind face every day.
And with more streaming services soon to hit the market, one is going dark. We're taking a look at why Sony is cutting the cord so you don't waste your money.
And good morning to you. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Storm Team 6 alert day.
It is Halloween and the weather, it is no treat this morning.
No, meteorologist Todd Clausen is currently tracking fog and a whole host of other things. Todd, what can we expect for the rest of our day?
You know, there is so much going on today. Usually we're in alert mode for one reason. Today we're in alert mode for several reasons. One good thing I can report is the fog is getting a little bit better, and that's because the rain is moving in. So visibility becoming less of an issue this morning. That is the good news. But here is that rain that is falling quite heavy in spots this morning across central Indiana, from Lebanon up to Frankfort to Lafayette to Monticello, over towards Peru into Marion. As we come to the south, another round of heavy rainfall from Terre Haute to Bloomington, and this will continue to move through during most of the morning commute. Behind the rain, you see some snow. That too will move in here later on this afternoon. So temperatures are as warm as they will be the entire day right now. We will see these temperatures fall throughout the course of the morning hours, with that steady rain eventually giving way to more in the way of scattered showers. Your noontime temperature is 40 degrees, but as we head into this evening, temperatures are going to continue to tumble as the winds pick up. And Alyssa, it is not going to be a very pleasant evening for all the trick-or-treaters here across central Indiana.
That's right, and multiple cities have opted to change their trick-or-treating times from tonight to Friday night because of that inclement weather that we're having this evening. Several cities on your screen right now, that list has been added to, have changed their trick-or-treating hours. Muncie, Hagerstown, North Vernon, and LaPel have all rescheduled trick-or-treating for Friday evening. Pendleton has also changed their trick-or-treating time, but to Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. Now, several other cities' officials say they are monitoring the weather and to keep an eye on their city social media pages to stay updated. If you want a safe bet and to get your trick-or-treating finished up today, there are many indoor events happening across central Indiana. IMPD Southeast District will be passing out candy today starting at 3. You can head to the fairgrounds for the annual Safe Night Halloween Trunk or Treat. That starts at 5. Several area churches will also be holding events, including Cornerstone Lutheran Church. The Martin Luther King Community Center is also holding a safe trick-or-treat event at 6:30. And all Indianapolis fire departments will be passing out candy starting at 6 tonight. So there are plenty of events across central Indiana if you want to do that trick-or-treating inside this evening. But several cities are still holding their trick-or-treating hours as is tonight. So you can also just bundle up and use that weather as an excuse to get that trick-or-treating done nice and quick. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. And as folks are heading out the door on this Halloween, they're going to run into a few issues on the roads. Not only the rain and that patchy fog, but here we have a disabled vehicle. It's blocking the left lane of westbound I-70 as you approach Harding Street here on the west side. Slow down in that area. We also have the left lane blocked. This is due to a crash cleanup northbound I-65. Heading in from the south side as you approach the south split, use caution in that area. No injuries to report, and we will continue to keep you updated.
The signs are clear and posted nearly everywhere.
Trucks are not welcome through many residential areas in Alexandria.
Only on RTV6, and breaking this morning, the mayor of Alexandria says he plans to take action after getting complaints like this one in Madison County.
This is a continuing problem. Every year, something gets hit. Telephone pole, I mean, every year, and it's multiple things that get hit. It may not be not my property, maybe somebody else's down the road.
Don Richardson, as you can hear, he is fed up. He's tired of drivers ignoring those no truck signs and leaving damage like that behind. And breaking this morning, the mayor of Alexandria sent me an email overnight saying that the city council there will consider an ordinance on this issue next month. The sign of progress is clear, while semi-drivers apparently need to have their eyes checked. There's no way you can miss those no truck signs in Alexandria.
Everybody up and down this road's had damage.
Don Richardson showed us the damage to his truck. He had to replace a driver's side mirror swiped by a semi, a reflection of what's happening on this street in Alexandria. Though no truck signs are posted on Washington and Central, semis have hit a utility pole, street signs.
It hit it so hard there was rocks out here in the road.
And now Don's fence and masonry.
It just can't be bubblegum back together. It's my property. This is where I live. This is not, the construction site. I like to have a nice place and I want to keep it nice, but every year I get ran over or I get a mirror knocked off or something.
Here's a picture Don recently sent us of a semi on his street. He asked the driver to turn around since he ignored multiple warning signs.
They don't care. They don't care. It's their GPS or something says hang left. They hang a left. They wipe out my fence. They wipe out the stop sign. They run over the no truck signs.
We took the neighborhood's concerns to Mayor Ron Richardson. He's considering an ordinance to crack down on violators. But he also has these maps to pass out to semi-drivers, making deliveries at the industrial site, bringing in the trucks.
Can I get you to go back to Ketter?
Oh, absolutely.
And show them the maps and say, people of Ketter, please help me keep these trucks off city streets.
We can do that again.
It's busted the foundation all the way down. The fence is leaning out.
Don will take all the help he can. He's tired of filling out insurance claims to make repairs.
Over the years, I haven't the froggiest of what they are thinking because you stop them and tell them and they get mad at you.
So the new thing this morning in breaking is that ordinance we'll hear from the mayor and the police chief, all new and only on RTV6 at 6:30 here on Good Morning Indiana.
Okay, so what about that damaged fence?
You saw that fence damage. Of course, it's in the thousands, and Don is still fighting the truck driver's insurance company to make the repairs. Meredith, we hope we don't have to get involved with that fight, but we will if they need us to. We'll see what happens. We'll keep on top of that as well.
And you just got a push alert about this story from the RTV6 app. You can open the alert to learn more about the plan to deal with all those trucks.
We do want to get to some breaking news we've been following from overnight here at 6:08. One person is recovering from a shooting. This took place on the city's northeast side. That shooting happened around midnight near 32nd Street and Emerson Avenue. Police there at the scene tell us that a woman found a 21-year-old man shot outside of her apartment door. That man was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive, but police say the victim is not being cooperative. We are also following more breaking news, this time on the city's east side. Fire investigators are trying to figure out what started this fire. This is near Washington and Sherman. The fire started around 11:30 last night in a vacant home. Officials tell us that the building here has been vacant since 2003. Authorities say when they arrived at the scene, they found smoke and flames coming from this home. Firefighters say no one was injured in that fire.
Lawrence Township schools are the first in the nation to use new technology that could cut down on the time an active shooter is on the loose and save more lives. The district is installing active shooter response technology. It provides real-time detection and location reporting of gunshots to reduce response time to active shooter events. Once the call goes out, response teams can instantly track that shooter's movements as well as identify the type of weapon being used. Officials say they're happy to have the technology, but they hope they never have to use it.
They will know the exact location of shots being fired in a school long before the school teacher can scramble for his or her phone to call 911 in a panicked, chaotic situation when really they should be looking after their kids and making decisions about evacuation, sheltering in place, all those things that we're now preparing to do in our schools.
The technology is a partnership between the school district, Lawrence Police, and a company called Body Worn by Utility. They hope to expand the systems nationwide over the next several years.
The time now is 6:10. The Hendricks County School Board is admitting it allowed a teacher's relative to vote on issues impacting that teacher. Call 6 Investigates has learned that Northwest Hendricks County's board member, Brad Williams, is the uncle of Tyler Bruce. Bruce is under investigation over allegations of sexual misconduct with a student, which he's denied. On July 9th, the board voted unanimously to put him on paid administrative leave. Williams did not recuse himself from that vote. Call 6 has been asking questions about this for weeks now. The board finally responded in writing this week, calling that vote an oversight. You can read the entire statement and more details about this case in the RTV6 app. The time now again 6:10. Let's check in your forecast on this Storm Team 6 Alert Day. Todd Clausen, a lot's going on behind you. Look at that radar.
Yeah, there's no way to sugarcoat things here today, Raphael. It is just not going to be a pleasant day from start to finish, and there's a lot going on. So let's talk about these Halloween headlines. It's a wet morning for us. That is happening right now. Raphael mentioned the radar. I'll show it to you in just a second. We do mix in some snow later on this afternoon. A wind advisory will go into effect for gusts to 50 miles per hour. That advisory kicks in at 3 p.m. and temperatures will go from the 40s to the 30s. You factor in that wind, the real field temperatures are going to be in the 20s later on this afternoon. So here's the rain moving through. This is the steady batch of rain. It's with us throughout the duration of the morning commute. Once we get to midday, it kind of tapers off, only for these snow showers to move in. And here is that wind advisory that will kick in. If you were with us last hour, there had been a dense fog advisory. Now that this rain is moving in, one of the ways you can disperse fog is to bring in some rainfall. So visibility shouldn't be as much of an issue. Going forward, it's more of the rain and then the falling temperatures. By the time we get to mid-afternoon, everybody's in the mid-30s. By the time we get to the trick-or-treating hours, temperatures in some areas will be falling below freezing.
Flurries, as you heard, are in the forecast, and before we know it, the holidays, yeah, they'll be right here. After the break on Good Morning Indiana, how you can get a job at a favorite family winter tradition.
Plus, a Johnson County woman is sharing a lesson she learned the hard way. Still ahead this morning, the warning for you before you use Facebook Marketplace.
And so often we take our vision for granted. This morning, our Kelsey Anderson is talking about the challenges those with limited sight face every day. The time now is 6:12. We'll be right back.
At oneamerica.com.
An Indianapolis school specializes in teaching children who are visually impaired how to do their everyday tasks on their own.
And this morning, our own Kelsey Anderson is joining us live. And Kelsey, the superintendent of this school has a really important message for all of us.
Yeah, his message is anything a sighted child can do, like getting on the computer, reading a book, a blind or visually impaired child can do too, as long as they have the right resources. At the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, the main focus is teaching the students to be independent. Superintendent Jim Durst tells me the students who go to ISBVI have to learn the same core academics that all other students in Indiana have to learn, but they put an extra emphasis on how to do everyday tasks without help. Things like making your bed, folding laundry, getting on the computer, and other everyday tasks that so many of us may take for granted. Durst says when they have a first-time parent come to the school, they try to emphasize this.
All too often, individuals who don't work with children who are blind or have low vision tend to focus on the things children can't do because of the blindness or the low vision. We really try to emphasize that your child, your student, can pretty much do anything a sighted child can do if given the right opportunities, if provided with the right accommodations.
The Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired also allows students to play sports like track, swimming, cheerleading, and even skiing. Durst says they also have a lot of support for parents of visually impaired children. Coming up in the next half hour, hear the story of a woman who moved back to Indiana so that her child could get the same education that she got. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Kelsey, thank you so much. Our Hiring Hoosiers initiative works to connect you to jobs and all the training resources right here in our state.
And this week, we continue to highlight some unique seasonal seasonal job openings in central Indiana ahead of the holiday season.
So Newfields and their Winter Lights experience, it's not only a must-see winter wonderland for you as a guest, but there's actually a lot of opportunities within this organization for seasonal work that's really fulfilling. Working at Newfields is all about hospitality, from parking attendants to wayfinders to security and beyond. That organization typically hires 60 to 80 part-time seasonal employees each season to bring their attractions to life for the guests. Drew Roach started as a seasonal worker as a gallery guide, but when a full-time position opened up as a security rover, Drew jumped at the chance and it paid off.
My favorite thing about it, as a matter of fact, is that you never know who you're talking to. So many different opportunities, like doors and windows, can open for you.
Well, seasonal workers at Newfield make around $10 an hour and typically work 15 to 20 hours a week. They're always offered a warm drink on their shift during the holidays and a warm meal if it falls on a holiday. They are hiring right now, so if you want to apply for a seasonal position at Newfields, we have more information for you and a link to apply at our website, hiringhoosiers.com. There you can also read our full behind-the-scenes look at those seasonal positions.
It is a Storm Team 6 alert day. Bundle up if you're heading out today. The Sanchez home has plenty of candy if you come out. We will give you extra.
Make it worth it, yeah.
We'll give you extra candy for the amount of gloves and hats and stuff you have on. Right? Milk Duds, maybe. You'll get a pound of Milk Duds. I don't know.
And you'll need the extra warmth. I can guarantee that tonight. I really think it's going to be a shock to the system, not just because it's trick-or-treating later on this evening, but this is the first time we're dealing with temperatures that'll be near freezing since back in the spring, and also we're going to be factoring in very gusty winds. Now, one thing that is improving across the area for the morning commute is the visibility. There's still some fog out there, don't get me wrong, but the visibilities are getting better, and that's because we are starting to see this rain move through. Rain disperses fog, or helps to disperse the fog, and so the dense fog advisory has now been dropped, but it's a very, very wet drive this morning from Bloomington and Nashville westward. A little bit of a break right now from Greenwood over towards the Shelbyville area. Then as we slide to the north, some pretty good rain from Carmel up towards Tipton, light rain in and around the metro area, and then as we slide even further north, Kokomo to Delphi, some pretty good rainfall as well. So the steady rain lasts another couple hours. The back edge of it now approaching the state line with Illinois. This will move from west to east, so the further east you are, the longer you hold on to the rain this morning. Here's the snow. That's what rotates through later on this afternoon. TrueCast confirms the rain should be, for the most part, out of the area by the time we get to 10, 11 o'clock this morning. Then you get a little bit of a break. The precipitation that comes in this afternoon is a rain-snow mixture, and as far as the intensity goes, shouldn't be as heavy as what's happening right now with the rainfall. But nonetheless, from Muncie, say maybe to Crawfordsville, points to the north, not out of the question you could get a quick little coating on grassy areas, so be aware of that. And then by the time we get to 11:30, all the rain should be done. The problem is once we get rid of this rain, the front's through. Behind that front, that's when the winds really kick up. So 1 o'clock, the wind not terrible, but then it ramps up throughout the evening hours, gust up to about 40 miles per hour through 9, 10 o'clock. And then once that front is further off towards the east, they'll start to subside overnight tonight. But they're a westerly wind that's driving in the colder temperatures, 40s and 50s right now. But look where we're going later on this afternoon. We'll see these temperatures fall all the way down into the mid-30s, about 35 degrees by 5 p.m. Factor in the wind, and it's going to feel like it is in the 20s this evening. So trick-or-treating, as we mentioned, if you do it, you need to bundle up very heavily with the coat and the gloves and the hat, because 35 is going to feel more like the 20s. And then overnight tonight, look at these temperatures. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, 22 to 27 degrees. A freeze warning goes into effect for some counties here across central Indiana. And don't be surprised maybe tomorrow. Watch out for those bridges and overpasses. If there's leftover moisture, if the wind doesn't dry it out, could be some slick spots tomorrow morning. Otherwise, sunny and 45 on Friday. Don't forget to turn the clocks back 1 hour Saturday night before you go to bed. But the weekend as a whole, fairly sunny with temperatures, Raphael, in the 40s.
Todd, thank you so much. Time now at 6:21. Let me take you to Johnson County, where a Bargersville woman has a warning about a Facebook marketplace scam, leaving her out nearly $700 and stuck with a broken refrigerator. You see, Mandy Hollingsworth says she wanted to buy a working fridge without breaking the bank. She saw one advertised on the Facebook marketplace. After going back and forth with the seller, a price and delivery was agreed upon. She says the guy who delivered it told her to wait about an hour before turning it on to let the Freon settle. After she plugged it in, nothing happened. And that's when she realized she'd been ripped off.
I looked on my receipt. There was a number provided and called the number, and the lady was like, no. She goes, I'm sorry. She goes, I've never ever delivered appliances, or I've never sold appliances on the marketplace.
After looking online, Mandy saw that this has happened to at least one other person where she lives. Someone using a bogus business name, that name, Shadeland Appliances, and selling a broken refrigerator. She knows she's unlikely to get her money back, but she hopes to prevent this from happening to other people.
The World Series is now wrapped up, and it's one for the history books. We'll explain ahead in our Trending 6.
Geodis as a hiring Hoosiers partner.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 6:25 here on our Thursday, and it is a Storm Team 6 alert day. Here's a look from Live Drive. Our own Shay Goodpaster behind the wheel. This is a dash cam view using the windshield wipers of the rain here on the northeast side. Traveling westbound on 465. The good news, everything is moving along up to speed.
We know trick-or-treaters here in central Indiana are going to be bundling up tonight.
Yes.
With these little cuties, oh, they are nice and warm in their costumes. Just take a look at this. The country's newest and tiniest babies got dressed up to celebrate Halloween. Patients in the neonatal intensive care unit at Norton Hospital in Louisville showed off their first Halloween costumes. It was an opportunity to celebrate the holiday with their families. And little Jacob there, he just hit the 30-pound mark, and he's wearing a Boss Baby costume this Halloween.
He is the boss. On Halloween, what better day to talk about? Chocolate. Lots of chocolate. Organizers of the annual Paris Chocolate Fair wanted to drum things up a bit for the fair's 25th anniversary. So they choreographed a fashion show with dresses made, are you kidding me, from chocolate and dance to music from cocoa-producing countries around the world.
Wow, that is crazy.
Impressive.
Well, look at this story. A Florida family got an unexpected surprise when a black bear wanders into their garage. The family says the bear treated himself to some Cool Whip and frozen sausage. The family says the garage doors typically closed, but they had it open because they were working on an outdoor project. That bear eventually left, but not before doing a number on their freezer door.
He could have the garage and the freezer. You take it, Mr. Bear. This morning, fire continues to rage in California. This is a very serious situation out there, but as one dad works to protect his community, his fellow firefighters are not letting his home life go unattended. Get this, crews from the Ventura County Station 50 attended his daughter's birthday party on his behalf. The crew says supporting each other is part of the job. That is one special family.
For the first time, the Washington Nationals can call themselves World Series champs. Game 7 wrapped up overnight with a 6-2 win over the Houston Astros. This is also the first ever World Series where the visiting team won every game. So if you're keeping track at home, spring training games begin in 115 days. Baseball will be back before we know it.
Oh, yeah. Well, during a homecoming pep rally, this is at a Catholic high school down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Father Ricardo Rivera had everyone on their feet. He joined in with the dancers and the cheerleaders during their routine. And he did not miss a beat.
Wow.
Father Rivera is the senior theology teacher and an ordained priest. His appearance was a surprise for everyone there. That is, except for the dance coach.
Oh, look at the move.
Nailed the ending pose.
Yes. And you're a dancer. Would you give that a 10?
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That was impressive.
Yeah. I wish we could give the weather a 10 today, but I don't think so.
Big fat goose egg.
Yeah. I hate to be the bearer of the bad news today because I know so many people look forward to this night, and some communities have changed their dates. So hopefully you can get out there with the kids. It is just not going to be pleasant here later on today. We're dealing with rain right now across the area. Your morning commute's going to be a wet one. Visibilities are getting better as far as the fog goes, so that is at least a good news. But the problem is, once we get rid of the rain, you think you're probably in the clear. Well, this afternoon, that's when the wind kicks in. It's not that windy as of yet. So as we work our way throughout the entire day, the temperatures will actually fall. It's warmer now than it will be at 4 p.m. with temperatures in the 30s. You factor in the wind, it's going to feel like it's in the 20s, and that is not the wrong icon there. We are going to transition some of this rain over to some snow showers later on this afternoon.
Todd, thank you so much. There are multiple streaming services out there ready to compete with Netflix or Hulu.
This morning, John Matteries explains which company is cutting their service so you don't waste your money.
With everyone, it seems, moving to streaming TV services, why is one of the top-rated services, PlayStation Vue, going away? Sony shocked almost 1 million subscribers this week with news that it'll be ending its PS Vue streaming service in January, leaving viewers just 2 months to find a new service. Cord Cutters News, which monitors the industry, says Vue viewers could start losing channels as early as next month as their contracts run out with Sony. So how did a key player in this hot industry fail? CNN says Sony was not making money on Vue due to the high cost of channels. Services that offer specialized content like Amazon, Netflix, and the upcoming Disney Plus are in better position to turn a profit. In addition, Vue was one of the most expensive at $50 a month. Sling, Hulu, YouTube, and other streaming services are all cheaper, but Vue's demise is a warning that content costs continue to rise, which means other services may have to raise their prices soon to survive. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thank you. You can find more tips from John as well as more ways to avoid wasting your money. Just head to the money section of theindychannel.com. Now it's 6:30 on Good Morning Indiana. Here is a look at today's top stories. Investigators are looking into the cause of a fire near Washington and Sherman. It started around 11:30 last night in a vacant home. Officials on scene tell us the building had been vacant since 2003. No injuries were reported.
Police are investigating a shooting. This one's on the northeast side. It left one person injured. This happened around 6 o'clock last night at East 38th Street and North Grand Avenue. That's just east of Emerson Avenue. Police tell us that a 21-year-old appeared to have been shot near an apartment in that area. That man was taken to the hospital with just minor injuries.
On this Thursday, let's head to the west side. In Speedway, 2 people recovering following this serious crash. Emergency crews were called to the 500 block of West 25th Street. That's near Georgetown Road around 10:45 last night. We're told it took about 25 minutes to get both drivers out of their vehicles. Both people were taken to the hospital. No word on their conditions or on the cause of that crash.
Demolition of the vacant Oak Tree apartment complex will continue today. The property at 42nd and Post has been blamed for bringing crime to the area ever since it was first declared a public nuisance in 2013. Leaders say they plan to hold a town hall style meeting in the coming weeks to talk about the next steps.
Well, she is back and she's got her groove on once again. Yes, folks, a new and improved and dancing has made her return to her spot there on Mass Ave right here in downtown Indy. This one looks just like the light display that danced for more than a decade at the corner of Mass Ave, Alabama, and Vermont Street. Well, the new one was installed just yesterday. It was 15 days after the original one was removed.
Oh, and people might have a difficult time moving tonight if they are all bundled up in their big winter coats while trick-or-treating.
I tell you what, you're going to be moving like this if you're out there because the wind is going to be whipping the rain in.
Yeah, we need that demo.
Can I see that dance move one more time? I've not seen that since the 80s. Okay, just want to make sure I saw that.
You know, because the wind is going to be pelting you in the face with rain and snow, and it's going to be bitter cold.
You might need to hold your trick-or-treat bag in front of your face.
You know, and you're never prepared for that first real blast of cold air, and that's what we're going to get later on today. Before we get to tonight, though, you have to deal with some patchy fog this morning. That's in the process, though, of getting better. That's the one good news in this forecast. But it's a wet morning commute, and then temperatures are really just going to start to fall later on this afternoon. So Storm Team 6 radar completely active this morning with some pretty good rainfall from Lebanon now through Kokomo up towards Peru into the Marion area, and then some steady rain as you work your way from Indianapolis to Martinsville to Bloomington over towards Nashville. So this is the wettest part of the day. So this moves through during the morning commute. Should be off to our east as we work our way into, say, the 10, 11 o'clock hour. At that point, temperatures are still in the 30s and 40s, but by the time we get to 2, 3 in the afternoon, temperatures are in the 30s. The rain is changing over to snow. We'll see some snow showers off and on throughout the course of the afternoon and evening hours. But keep in mind, this is not factoring in the wind. These temperatures will really feel like in the 20s throughout much of the afternoon and into the evening hours.
Todd, we do have a traffic alert for drivers heading out there in the elements this morning. Take a look here at the South Split. This is in the downtown downtown area. We have a semi-crash right now on northbound I-65. It's blocking the left lane. What you're actually looking at on your screen is that ramp from I-70 traveling eastbound, hopping on there at the south split, and that's where the slowest spot is because the left lane is blocked. So as you're traveling here trying to get into the downtown area, you'll want to use caution. It is moving slow, but the backup isn't too bad at this hour, so I don't think you need to reroute.
The time now is 6:34. The Halloween costumes might be scary tonight, but as Todd Clausen just told you, so will the weather conditions.
It is set to be a wet and cold one for children and parents planning to trick or treat. So our Alyssa Donovan is taking a look at options being offered on this Halloween that might be a little drier and a little warmer, Alyssa.
That's right, and there are a lot of indoor options, and some cities have even opted to move their trick-or-treating hours from today to tomorrow, some even into Saturday. And on your screen right now, we're going to show you a list of some of those cities that have changed their trick-or-treating times. One of those is Muncie. Hagerstown has also changed their time. North Vernon and LaPel, they have all rescheduled trick-or-treating to Friday evening. Pendleton has changed trick-or-treating to Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. Several other cities' officials say that they are monitoring the weather today and keep an eye on their city social media pages to stay updated on if they are going to change their trick-or-treating hours. Now, if you do want a safe bet and get your trick-or-treating finished up today, there are a ton of indoor events happening across central Indiana. One of those is IMPD's Southeast District. They'll be passing out candy today starting at 3 p.m. You can also head to the fairgrounds for the annual Safe Night Halloween Trunk or Treat. That starts at 5. Several area churches will also be holding events, including Cornerstone Lutheran Church. The Martin Luther King Community Center is holding a safe trick-or-treat event at 6:30, and all Indianapolis fire departments will be passing out candy starting at 6 tonight. So there are plenty of indoor events if you do want to get your trick-or-treating done today. Again, some of those cities are changing to tomorrow, even Saturday, but most cities haven't changed their trick-or-treating hours. So you can still go out tonight and trick-or-treat. Just know it is going to be a wet and windy evening. You're going to have to bundle up, and maybe if you're smart, you can use that excuse with your kids to cut trick-or-treating a little short this year. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
All right, Alyssa, thanks for breaking that down for us. The time right now is 6:36. A mother, thankful for the education that she got, moves back here to Indiana so that her daughter could go to the same school that she did. She says the life she has now probably wouldn't have been possible without the skills that she learned at Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired. Our Kelsey Anderson joining us live this morning with her story. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. So for people who are blind or visually impaired, doing everyday tasks like getting on the computer, reading a book, or even a menu at a restaurant, riding the bus can be really difficult or impossible. But one mother says that a local school can make that possible.
Well, it definitely got me prepared to go off to college. I went to college. I now work for the IRS.
Joyce Wade is talking about the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
It gave me social skills, and it gave me the academics that I needed to be prepared to go out and be a productive part of society. It gave me the confidence to do things that, like I say, you normally just wouldn't do.
Wade is considered legally blind and is a graduate of ISBVI. She tells me she lived in St. Louis for a while, but when her daughter Michaela, who is also legally blind, was in middle school, she decided to move back to Indiana.
In my opinion, it's one of the best blind schools in the country, so I didn't want to come back here and let her have the same opportunities that I had.
Wade says it's not just the academic education that brought her back, but also the life skills that the school teaches.
And they get exposed to some of the things that they may not be able to be exposed to at public school, like mobility. The mobility here, what they do is teach the kids to navigate the bus systems and to navigate different, like going into restaurants and being able to navigate the menus.
It's valuable for students to be able to be as independent as they possibly can.
Jim Durst is the superintendent and ISBVI.
And individuals who don't work with children who are blind or have low vision tend to focus on the things children can't do because of the blindness or the low vision. We really try to emphasize that your child, your student, can pretty much do anything a sighted child can do if given the right opportunities, if provided with the right accommodations.
This month is Blindness Awareness Month, and Durst wants you to know that there are plenty of opportunities and support for you in this community, for you or your child, and they are all over Indianapolis. We'll have them listed for you over on the RTV6 News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
This is just part of someone's fence. This is the point of impact. Homeowners are getting frustrated with all of the property damage. But why does it keep on happening? That story next on RTV6. New this morning and only on RTV6, there's an effort to make sure truck drivers pay attention to street signs that say no trucks. As you can see, that's the sign right there. The city of Alexandria has numerous no truck signs posted around a number of city neighborhoods. But truck drivers making deliveries to an industrial site within the city limits are often choosing to defy the signs. And this is what happens. Don Richardson is fed up with the semis driving down his street. A truck recently crashed into his fence and masonry, causing thousands of dollars in damage. Since 2013, trucks have crashed into a utility pole and swiped away vehicle mirrors. The mayor is now planning on introducing an ordinance that would allow police to impose a fine on violators, ranging from a warning to $500.
I think the message is already there. That's no trucks allowed, but I think now it probably makes it a little bit more of an alert that, hey, if I get caught doing this, it's going to get in my pocket.
If you could actually add a monetary, penalty to violating that, then yes, I think it would be a deterrent, I'd hope.
And Mayor Richardson tells me this morning via an email that the city council will take up that issue next month. The mayor has gone to the truck delivery site and dropped off some maps detailing the route that trucks need to follow to keep out of those residential streets. We'll keep on top of that. Now at 6:43 on the Storm Team 6 Alert Day, we're keeping on top of your weather forecast. And Todd, what's behind you? A lot of issues.
Yeah, there are a lot of issues today. Honestly, I could probably do a 6-minute weathercast here for the day today with so many things going on. We have rain right now. That changes to some snow later on this afternoon. Then the wind is going to kick in between 3 and 12 o'clock tonight. We have a wind advisory that will be in place for 40-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Then overnight tonight, a freeze warning goes into effect as we see the coldest air that we have seen since last spring. But the immediate concern is the rain for your morning commute. The roadways are wet all across central Indiana, and there's some pretty good rain here from Noblesville up towards Marion into the Peru area as we slide to the south. Not quite as heavy right now from Nashville to Columbus to Greensburg, but this band of rain on the western side of the state, this is going to start to slide off towards the east. So we get rid of the rain only for the snow to come in later on this afternoon as the temperatures tumble. We're in the 40s right now, 30s though throughout much of the afternoon. So make sure you grab the heavier coat because it'll be colder when you come home from work. As the temperatures drop, the winds pick up. That is this white line here. The sustained winds by 4 or 5 o'clock, 25 mile per hour, up to about 40 miles per hour as we get into the wind gust category later on tonight. We'll talk more about the trick-or-treat forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, it's an issue that people who live and work in downtown are talking about heading into next week's mayoral race. Up next, what the candidates say they will do to help the homeless.
And today is Throwback Thursday. We're looking back at a massive fire that changed the downtown landscape forever. You'll hear from the RTV6 photographer who shot some of the only known footage of that fire and who also helped save a life. It's 6:45. We'll be right back.
Just call Summers.
It's 6:47 on your Thursday. A traffic alert for drivers heading into the downtown area. This is a look at a semi-crash cleanup we're monitoring at the South Split. It's creating about a 5-minute delay along both northbound I-65 heading into the South Split, merging with traffic there on eastbound I-70. Eastbound I-70 also backed up to about Harding Street. Well, Election Day is less than 1 week away now, and the race for mayor of Indianapolis. RTV6 is asking those candidates all the key questions on the key issues this week.
One issue the candidates have frequently discussed is the homeless population. We asked all three candidates how they would tackle the issue.
We have to find a place somewhere in the city where we can have the homeless not only have a place to stay temporarily, but also a place where we can say, okay, here is where the outreach center is, here is how you can get out
and improve your lives.
Our point-in-time count shows that for the last 2 years, we have seen a decrease in the number of those suffering chronic homelessness.
There was an interest in having a homeless facility for veterans in our city, but the neighborhood rose up and said no. When I become mayor, I will get right in the middle of that and we'll find a solution for that.
The most recent count revealed more than 1,500 homeless people in Indianapolis. You can vote early now. Election day is next Tuesday, November 5th.
It is a Storm Team 6 alert day, so please be safe on this Halloween. So extra clothing is okay, yeah?
I mean, it's a necessity, to be honest with you, because later on this afternoon, we will be in the 30s and temperatures will be falling into the 20s, and we will be dealing with bone-chilling winds later on this Halloween. The wind's not too much of an issue right now, but they'll pick up as the day goes on. And when those winds do kick in, they'll be gusting to 30 to maybe even 40 miles per hour. And that's going to put wind chill values down into the 20s later on this afternoon. So if you do venture out with the kids, be very, very careful. Temperatures will be in the 30s. In fact, by 9 p.m., we're probably almost down to the freezing mark already. There'll be some rain and or snow showers out there. There could be some slick spots. Remember, the leaves on the ground are going to be wet. And with a 30 to 40 mile per hour gust, it's not out of the question that maybe some branches could come down here across the area. So you need to use caution if you're going to be out and about later on tonight. This morning, we're dealing with rain across the area. It's generally light rain with some pockets of moderate rain, but no lightning out there. In and around the metro area, the rain is falling. It's a little heavier in Hamilton County as you work away from Carmel up through Noblesville and then eventually into Tipton and Kokomo and Marion. So the steady rain is with us for a couple more hours. It lasts through the duration of the morning drive. The back edge probably does not clear central Indiana until about 10, 11 o'clock this morning. Then we get a little bit of a break, but during this break, that's when the wind will start to kick up. The colder air comes in, and we'll see the rain showers change over to snow showers. So during the trick-or-treating hours, I think the flakes will be flying, especially north of Indianapolis, where maybe there could be a little coating on grassy areas. Should not impact the roadways. That is the good news, since temperatures right now are still in the 40s, and yesterday we were in the 40s and 50s across the area. In fact, we're still hanging on to some 50s in Connorsville and Richmond. 39 though now in Crawfordsville. So this colder air is overspreading the area. So temperatures warmer now than they will be later on today, as we mentioned, in the 30s, but wind chill values will be in the 20s. Those winds again will be gusting up to about 40 miles per hour. So it is not going to be a very pleasant evening across the area. Then going forward, tomorrow morning down to 27 degrees. These are your morning lows the next couple days. Even Saturday and Sunday, temperatures will be below freezing. Tomorrow morning, since we're dealing with quite a bit of moisture today, be careful for some slick spots out there on the roadways, especially those bridges and overpasses. The weekend will be dry but cooler with high temperatures that will be in the 40s.
And Todd, this morning, not only will drivers be dealing with rain for their morning commute, here in the downtown area, a semi-crash at the South Split slowing things down. We have about a 5-minute delay right now. What you're looking at is the ramp from eastbound I-70 merging with traffic on northbound I-65. Both directions slow at this hour, so if you're heading out the door, I'd give yourself an extra 5 to 10 minutes heading downtown. Well, it's Throwback Thursday time, and today we're going back to one of the largest, most destructive fires ever here in downtown Indianapolis.
So it was 1973 when the Grant Building on Washington Street between Meridian and Pennsylvania caught on fire.
Video of this historic fire is extremely rare, but RTV6 recently digitized about 3 minutes of film from the fire. It was shot by retired RTV6 photographer Lowell Davis. Not only that, Davis also helped save a man's life that day.
We were down there. I mean, it was so cold. It was just absolutely freezing. And we're down there getting pictures of the fire, and I look up, and here in this building is this old guy, probably about 80 years old, and he's waving, and he's trapped up there, with the fire. The fire is, on either side of him, and so we told the firemen, and so they sent guys up. They go over there, bust out the window, get him out, and lead him across the roof and then downstairs. And as soon as he came out the door, we were there.
Oh, just incredible. Well, it took more than 200 firefighters and nearly 4 million gallons of water to finally put out that fire. 15 buildings housing 84 businesses were impacted by fire or water damage.
That is incredible video there. Taking a turn now, the celebration in the nation's capital that they waited a long time for. So coming up here, how they celebrated, it was the only way that they knew how, with a very special song. Stick around.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board.
The Washington Nationals are World Series champs for the first time ever.
Yeah, following that historic win over the Houston Astros, the team there celebrating with a song that has become their celebration anthem.
First, it went viral because the team sang it in the locker room celebrations, but now it seems that the entire nation's capital knows the words to the Latin pop mega hit Calma by Pedro Capo.
Pa' curar el alma, cierre la pantalla, abre la medalla. Vamos pa' la playa, pa' curarte el alma, cierra la pantalla, abre la medalla. Peace out.
Oh, now that is how you celebrate. And so is this. Nats fans watching the win at a rain-soaked Nationals park. And this fan, well, we don't need to describe that.
Whoa!
Yeah, baby.
I want to see about the 500. You are welcome to come to Indianapolis this year and show off your skills. You got it, baby.
Oh,
Todd Clausen. Some clothes tonight, right?
Yeah,
lots of clothes
today, and bundle up tonight as temperatures fall into the 30s.
All right, thanks for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America.
We hope you have a happy Halloween. Stay safe out there.